Esta tierra tiene tanto que ofrecer. Tiene tanto que ofrecer. Tiene tanto que ofrecer. Es el sueño el motor, son las metas a alcanzar. Siempre hay que descubrir la manera de vivir. Este lugar, esta tierra, tiene tanto que ofrecer. Sueño el motor, son las metas a alcanzar. Siempre hay que descubrir la manera de vivir. Este lugar, esta tierra, tiene tanto que ofrecer. Tiene tanto que ofrecer. Tiene tanto que ofrecer. Es el sueño el motor, son las metas a alcanzar. Siempre hay que descubrir la manera de vivir. Este lugar, esta tierra, tiene tanto que ofrecer. descubrir la manera de vivir. Este lugar, esta tierra, tiene tanto que ofrecer. Tiene tanto que ofrecer. Tiene tanto que ofrecer. Es el sueño el motor, son las metas a alcanzar. Siempre hay que descubrir la manera de vivir. Este lugar, esta tierra, tiene tanto que ofrecer. Es el sueño el motor. Es el sueño el motor, son las metas a alcanzar. Siempre hay que descubrir la manera de vivir. Este lugar, esta tierra, tiene tanto que ofrecer. Tiene tanto que ofrecer. Tiene tanto que ofrecer. Es el sueño el motor, son las metas a alcanzar. Siempre hay que descubrir la manera de vivir. Este lugar, esta tierra, tiene tanto que ofrecer. metas a alcanzar. Siempre hay que descubrir la manera de vivir.
please. Hello. I spent this good last few minutes talking my arse off. As luckily, I quickly jumped back in. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Welcome. You've had a very dry audience. Well, a dry commentator. Welcome to Formula 4. Or F4. We're near the end, and I was really picking up a few names out here. If you are new to Formula 4, I'm sure a lot of you are. Welcome. I'm a commentator, Hyperactive, and lovely to meet you all. As we have 5 minutes left of this session, and already a couple of the names that I've been, was talking about while I was muted. I'm definitely showing their mark, and we've got a few faces returning to F4. As Nicola Adelaide says, I'm done. I'm happy with P6. I'm done. I can't improve. No, I don't think that's an I'm done that you want to say. That little yellow flag that is out is for him, so I think he spun and hit the wall. Of which Nicola Adelaide was one of the guys I was going to big up. A very consistent driver. Aggressive, I would say, is his racing style. He likes to really push that car beyond its limit, and as proven today, P6 is the best he can do because of it. As we are waiting for the last few we're waiting for drivers to go into the pit for their last run, which does give me a bit of time to talk about these drivers. Alexander Dimas is a very, very strong driver in other leagues where I have seen him race. Oh my, you are in for a treat with this guy. Brilliant guy to watch, brilliant driver, and he's just consistent throughout. And in the other league, for the last 4 races, I believe, he has been within the points, and not only just points, on podiums. He's a strong driver, and honestly speaking, and it says a lot for me to say that I genuinely believe this could be potential to continue moving up tiers. He's early in his career, clearly, because he's a new name amongst the scene. But without doubt, that guy is going to go somewhere. A familiar face currently in P2, Cordor. I'm not going to try and pronounce that full name. I never did throughout the whole season on season 32. A very difficult name to pronounce indeed. But Cordor is a brilliant driver. A consistent, strategical driver. Doesn't really take too much of a risk. But the risks he does take, 9 times out of 10, does play out. And I do enjoy it. Honestly, his driving is one of its own. New drivers to the league, or new drivers to me, Leon Lund, Sparky, Norwicki, welcome. I look forward to seeing what you present to us today. I've already mentioned about Nicola Adelaide. We're currently watching Super Gaming. Yeah, hopefully his drive is super, because he's going to go for his final run. And while he's on his final run, let's go for a hot lap with Super Gaming. Currently P7 running the beautiful Alfa Romeo. Of course, now is in black and white, not the white and black. Heading into turn 1, you kind of puts a lot of pressure onto those brakes, and it's very easy with this corner to get out of control. And he's invalidated his lap, so we won't be following him. Who is next in line? We've got a few drivers on their out laps. His teammate is going to be next in line, which is Mike. Or unless Johansson. I think Johansson also is about to start a lap as well. Another familiar name, if you are in the F4 scene, is Alexander Johansson. Again, a very strategical driver. Not over the top with his moves, but consistent when his head's in the mindset. Mike, again, through this first 2 corners we go. Drop it down to 4th. You see some drivers driving on 5th as well, depending on your option. And then through turn 3, and it's very easy to get some understeer if your setup is not done correctly. Tap the brake down into turn 4, swing that car around, use as much curb on the exit before transferring it into turn 5. Realistically, turn 7 and 8 is where we're going to see a lot of invalidations. You do gently touch the curb of 6, 7 you tend to cut. Now, you can see Mike's playing a bit safe at the moment, not risking it too much. And again, the exit of turn 9 is another area of invalidation. 10 was reprofiled due to MotoGP and to aid overtaking for the Formula 1, and it has proven to be doing its job. As we go into then the most technical sector now, a lot of us debate this final sector to be removed. Why don't we use the outside? Realistically, there isn't a lot of runoff there, and it's due to safety reasons. But with a 1:16.1 to beat, is it enough for Mike? It isn't enough. It's P10 for the Alfa Romeo driver today. Who is next across the line? It's going to be a few drivers across the line. I'm going to be looking out for, I think it's Juras. No, it's not. I've got the wrong colours. It's two Alpines. Who is going to be Sparky? Is going to be one of them. We'll keep an eye on that lap time. Sparky does not improve, but his teammate Gustav will improve to P3. We stay on board with Joris. See what he can do in the Williams. A new driver to F4, and I welcome you to my commentary booth as I look forward to see what you can do. Rounds the final corner. Currently P17 off the pace, but no improvement on his final run. Who is next? Who's next to catch my eye? I'm looking at Itz Van Nage. I like Itz Van Nage. What can he do? He isn't an improved lap. It's up for P7, so it is a slight improvement. I'm going to drop over to Norwicki, who is at the start of his lap. Is this a hot lap, or is he done? As Leo Lund improves for a 1:16.0. No, Norwicki is done. Gustav is also done. So who is not done? I saw a movement for Elliot Noren moving up into P12. I think this is the grid. Yes, it is. And there we go. F4's first qualifying. And it's going to be Leo Lund, the newcomer, into F4, taking P1, and technically Alexander Dimas as well, but I know for sure the up and rising star of Dimas put himself only a 10th behind, which realistically is still quite a bit of a gap in this tier. A lot of eyes will be looking to see how the start goes, as we are waiting for just the final few drivers to move away. Meanwhile, go P3, we've got Norwicki in P3, Super Gaming in P4, Cordor in P5, Gustav in P6, Itz Van Nage P7, Sparky in P8, Alexander Johansson finding a good position in P9, Nicola Adelaide will be proud of himself in P10, Zerki will miss out into the top 10, but P11 is still a fighting chance for some points. Elliot Noren in P12, Roman in P13, as we will have to wait for a little bit as the two cars are deciding to, for some reason, fight amongst each other. As we give it a few seconds, there it is. Where were we at? P13, Roman. P14 will be Mike in the Alfa Romeo. Coming down near the bottom, Danny Coe finds himself P15. He usually consistently gets himself into the points, so he will be fighting on the track. Adam in P16, Justin in P17, Joris, I think that's how you pronounce your name, in P18, Oski in P19, and Alessandro Finn in P20. I'm probably going to call you Finn. Was disqualified due to blocking the pit lane. And I'm intrigued. Zariki? I don't know. You're going to have to tell me later on. Please DM me how to pronounce your name. Zakai? I'm already making about 5 different pronunciations to this name. Dyslexia is fun. Has a 5-place grid penalty. Unsure to what reason. But he is not happy. In the driver's chat, he is definitely not too pleased with the position that he's found himself in. But that being said, whatever you did, it might be something. Apparently Leo is a 13-year-old Swedish goat. Interesting. 13 years old, and he's already on pole. 13 years old. God, I feel old at 23, and let alone being 10 years younger than me and driving better. But then again, that's not really hard to do. I competed only in the bottom tiers and ending up spinning half the time. Well, as we get into this race, let's talk a bit about strategy before we get into this. Now, with this game and how the game has developed, we definitely have seen the strategies being hard to mediums. We have seen a couple of drivers decide to go mediums to soft, and I believe we might be restarting the lobby. I believe as a lot of drivers are leaving. I can confirm. I will confirm for you. Can I get confirmation? I apparently can't type because my autocorrect is absolutely useless. Apparently so. So, we'll quickly hop to a small little break, but we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the race. Sorry about the little technical pause while we were working out a lobby reset due to what was deemed to be unfair penalties, but we ain't going to get into that because that's a bit of political BS, realistically. As it stands, the positions will remain the same, just that we've had this lobby reset and a bunch of guys T-posing at the front. This is probably one of the best scenes I've ever had. Oh, this is brilliant. Oh, this is quality. F1 game at its finest. There's no fans in the grandstand either, so there's a lot of problems on the screen at the get-go. But as I was mentioning before, quickly with the strategy. Actually, you know what? I'll tell you the strategies a bit later on. 3 seconds, 2, 1, and we're about to get to the race itself. There it is. The lights are showing. We're about to start the race for the first time in season 32, and Leon Lund will be the first driver to get away, and it will be a very strong start, but the Aston Martin of Alexander Dimas is gonna be heavily strong, and with the inside line will be favourable for the Aston Martin, but the Mercedes is still gripping on. He ain't gonna let this get away, but he has to yield to the Aston Martin of Dimas. But into turn 4 we go. The lunge from Lund could come from nowhere, but realistically it's not. But the wide, I see Norwicki going extremely wide, dropping a few positions as well. As you can just see up ahead, Leon Lund is still going at Dimas. He isn't giving in, but he's going to have to sit behind just for a little bit longer into the starting stages of this race. Already few drivers chopping and changing off the get-go. Who's that going a little bit wide? That looks like to be Gustav going down. He's really going for the lunge, and it's not going to be all too successful, I believe, because Cordor is going to fend it off just brilliantly, but Spark also getting ahead of Gustav, so he needs to be careful. Haas going extremely wide. That will be Zerky in the background, and the aggression off the get-go just to try and gain something, as Finn will get past Joris further ahead. And who's gone? Someone's gone somewhere. Nage's gone and spun, and that means he's not going to be too favourable in this race unless a safety car comes out. That might open up a door of opportunity later on, but we're sticking with the train from P1 all the way down to P7 as Danny Coe is unable to maintain and stay within the second mark. I know it's a little early, but he is out of this train, although he does get it back in just temporarily. So who's the biggest gains and who's the biggest losses? Biggest gain will have to go to 2 drivers. Adam Lundisk, I'll call him Adam. Adam and Oski will be the 2 drivers, getting 4 positions apiece. Actually, Danny Coe, I just realised that. Lovely 7 P8. Brilliant work from Danny Coe to find himself in a strong position. But the biggest loss, Alexander Johansson. I said I would big you up if you perform. And sorry, Johansson, I'm going to roast the hell out of you later in chat. I don't big up people for the sake of it. I know Alexander Johansson is a brilliant driver at heart. But for the start of 2023, he has not been performing. He's not been where he needs to be. He's not... I don't know what's happened to the start of this year. It could be a mixture of personal, it could be just the mindset he's running in, but clearly it's not where he wants to be, and he's not a happy boy in that position, and currently P19, of course with Fitz van Nage retiring as well. Not the happiest place to be. In terms of strategy, we're seeing at the moment, there's only a couple of drivers really opting for the alternative. That being Roman and Joris. Roman down in P13 and Joris in P19, going for the mediums. And then later on, we'll be trying for the hards. But naturally, we've been seeing the strategy just throughout. It's not even a case of what track you're on. It seems to be a consensus that the hard to mediums is just the better strategy to do. The bigger question is, when are we going to see the pit stops? Now, I've got a feeling, and this will be a well-informed prediction, of being earliest lap 14. Realistically, I feel drivers might come in on the lap 16 mark. But it's all who's going to pounce first. Who's going to be the first one to make that lunge. And talking of making lunges, I think Gustav is going to possibly try and eye up a move here as he does close down on his teammate of Sparky. Remember, there are some points for the teams, but it doesn't mean they're going to work as a team. This is a league of individual performance. You're not teamed up, you're not bodied up, you are there for your own taking. If you choose to be in a call with somebody, that is on your head, be it, but you might not. But then again, both of them are part of the same team, ET8. Common team that we do see in the mid-tiers is the ETA squad. And they definitely do put on a little bit of a show. Up ahead, not a lot of changes between the two leaders as Alexander Dimas is finding himself very comfortably in P1, and when you put Dimas in that position, he really doesn't budge. He finds his rhythm, he finds his groove, and that's it. That's just him going, and it is a very calm drive from Dimas, and you can see just from riding this on board from Leon Lund. I'll get a proper on board here. Look at the car ahead of him. Nice and crisp. You know, we're talking a car with a lot of fuel here right now. There's not... The car should be sliding around a bit more. It's not as nimble as it should be. The tyres are now in their optimal temperature, but you still would see some insecurity. That car is looking very stable, though going a bit of an alternative line just to try and get that little extra speed and be a bit defensive. But again, Dimas really holding his own, and from the get-go, that's looking pretty fierce. But we're going to see the action really spice up from when the first pit stop happens. So possibly earliest fighting that will come around, unless there are, of course, mistakes, as Alexander Johansson will find Finn a bit further back, and he still is chopping and changing, as he will lose out quite a bit. I don't know what is happening back there. Oh, he's way far back. I think he is spun, as the gap will finally break, because it's from P1 all the way down to, well, not this man anymore. It will be to Justin in P16. The train continues. Where is the closest action, though? Realistically, the closest action goes from P4 to P7. These guys are right on the heels of each other, as Corder is probably going to be the first one to say, you know what, I'm bored of sitting where I am. I might just apply a bit more pressure on you. You can see he looks a bit wider. He's looking for the better line. Overtaking places. I didn't really get a chance to talk about this. When the time comes, realistically, we'll be seeing action into turn 1. You know, no surprise there. Turn 1 is your prime overtaking opportunity. But where else can you overtake? Well, if you get a good run on the exit of turn 1, through 2 and 3, hold yourself really close. Deploy your ERS, you can actually make moves into turn 4. Of course, with a famous accident between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton when they collided together, though we do not wish to see more of that. And then your next opportunity will be from turn 9. You drive, get a good exit from there, stay really close, and you do what Cordor's doing. Use the DRS, mount a move, but the DRS straight there is very short. So it is quite hard, realistically, to make an overtake. And you just have to wait patiently, because once you make the overtake there isn't much of a fight back in the last bit. And those are your 3 overtaking opportunities. And this is also the reason why I do not rate Catalunya. Honestly, I do believe there are other better tracks out there, but Spain will stick with this. And I tell you what's going to stick here. It's going to be the move from the Alpine of Spark. He tries for the outside, but he can't get the move done. But you could see how defensive Cordor had to go. Position his car a bit more central just to fend off the Alpine driver in the French car. And unfortunately, not close enough to make the move into turn 4. The second place that I mentioned, you can make a move. And Cordor is a bit of a defending god here. He does not like to move. He does not like to budge at all. Just likes to hold his ground, hold firm, and wait for his right moment. Where else is the action? Well, technically there's a little bit of a closer battle happening for P16 a bit further back. But that will be because there is a DRS break there. There's over a second, so no assistance from the drag reduction system, of which, if you're new, the rear wing actually does open up. It mechanically opens as we're about to head down the start-finish straight. I'll demonstrate with our Leon Lunn, who is currently P2. See the letterbox at the back opens up, and that just reduces the amount of drag in the car. This will add roughly about an extra 10 to 20 kilometers an hour, depending on how that car is set up. This will allow the car, especially behind the other one, gain a lot more speed and allow better overtaking. But the problem is, and much with the virtual world, all these cars are set up equally. So they get a similar performance, so you really have to play your time and use what we call the energy recovery system. You'll hear me call it ERS. You have to deploy that. That, again, gives you a little bit more boost. And when you want to overtake, you deploy your ERS and use that. Of course, the driver ahead has ERS as well to defend with, to stop you from overtaking. And there's only a limited amount across the entire race. And that is something, and if I had a co-commentator here today, of which he is unable to be with us today, hopefully we will be seeing the return. I won't spoil who it is. You'll find out in due time next week who the co is, and boy, is he a name. He is a name that we've all heard of. Lap 9 we head into. It's been quite calm, quite consistent. People biding their time, not getting too fierced up too early. I think the only person realistically that had much of a feisty action is Spark, but his teammate is deciding, you know what, I'm not wasting here anymore. As Gustav will go, you're going too slow, bro. And the ET8 squad will switch positions to allow the teammate of Gustav to try and attack on Cordor, a man we know is very defensive in nature. And he's got a lot of work ahead of him, as Joris is going to get a 5-second time penalty speeding into pit lane and will retire from this session, believing he will not be able to do anything from it. Now the question is this switch from Gustav a little too early? Now, I can't physically see how much ERS this gentleman has, but that will play later on, because if he's used quite a bit to get past his teammate of Sparky, and you do have to then sacrifice your pace for the next few laps to try and recharge it. Now, this track isn't very good for recharging your battery. Realistically, you do need a lot more heavy braking zones to really charge it up. Now, a lot of these are just taps on the brakes, which will charge up a little bit, but you instantly lose it when you apply the power, because the car naturally uses a small amount of the ERS throughout the lap. Just you can overcharge it, or what we call overtake, as I think Elliot is about to eye up another move. No, he's a little too far back for the moment, but I'm going to draw our attention back to the guy who made the overtake in the middle of the race, Gustav, as once again in a fine position to make another overtake. He's really closed down on the AlphaTauri of Cordor. And he might be eyeing up for a couple more positions. So clearly, good amount of fuel, a good amount of tyre life to play with. So he's feeling confident. And clearly, he must have some extra energy to use up if he wants to pounce on the AlphaTauri driver. But I'll repeat it again. It's not easy to overtake. The way he positions that car is a very, very well-experienced driver. And of course, Cordor will be eyeing up the driver ahead as well. He's not going to be sitting put. He wants to be doing what he can in this race. And you can just see in the bottom, I think that's around about 30 to 40% battery left. So that's a little bit of oversteer kicks in, over rotation of the wheels. And it's not going to be the best exit from the Alpine driver. So you're going to have to hold off for a little bit as we draw our attention to the front, where Leon Lund and actually Super Gamer have closed down as we are on lap 11. So a very early pit stop is viable. When I say viable, it's risky, but it's doable. You would enter into possible puncture territory come later on when you're on those medium tyres. But is it worth the risk going this early? Realistically, you'd be looking at about lap 13, I would say, is the earliest drivers should come in. But we're going to start to see drivers line up. Maybe practice a couple of dummy moves. Show that they're there, make their presence known, and play the psychological game that is F1 2022 and the esports nature of this game. As, oh, who's that going slow? That is Gustav. Going slow, so is this a bit of strategy game? Because he allowed his teammate to get past very easily without any effort. Turn 10, went to the inside, allow his teammate to run around the outside just because of the nature of the corner. Or was that from a pure mistake, as Roman will be the first driver to go into the pits, but I believe he was on the medium tyres. So he's going medium to hards as Danny Coe is going to fight it out between Nicola Adelaide. What has he got? As Danny Coe has been making grounds very nicely off the start. He's going to continue this run through turn 3. He's got the inside line, a better run. This is what I meant about turn 4 overtakes. But a good exit from Nicola Adelaide to hold his position for P8. And you can see Danny Coe trying to find what he has left. What he can maybe take back from what was an attempt. A very unfortunate position he finds himself in. And already an overtake early and done. And also a lot of battery. Look at that, you can see on his steering wheel, 71%. That is the ERS percentage that Adelaide has. And that just makes the defending just that little bit more easier for himself. Back to the front. Dimas. Not really breaking much of a sweat here. Not showing signs of weakness. Not showing signs of worry. But running his course. Of course, he's got Leon Lund right behind him. And then closely followed by Super Gaming a little bit further back, who we're currently watching right now. And again, Super Gaming's in one of those positions where it's a good position to find yourself in, because you're not necessarily within that battle. So you're not damaging your tyres. You're not applying the pressure to cause a mistake. He is allowing the mistake to happen. He's going to sit there quite calmly, not use too much ERS, only apply when the two ahead of him start to pull away. And he can just run his own course here. And then when these guys do fight, naturally you tend to slow down a bit. You don't really have much to fight back with, so you just stay calm. You wait for something to unfold. And you can see 78%, 79 on his steering wheel. So he is waiting for the first driver. As we are on lap 13, turning into lap 14. Who's going to be the first to risk it? Well, it's not the first 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I don't think anybody's pitting this lap. So not yet. Not the early lunge from any of the drivers so far. And you can see Leon Lund again edging himself closer, finding himself, applying the pressure onto Alexander Dimas, trying to make any form of discomfort. But again, Dimas not budging, not even moving slightly offline to prepare himself for a defense. He is calm in that seat, and you can see from the way he's moving that car, there's no sweat here. He's been in this position before. In the other leagues that he's raced in, the current league that he's doing it in, he has demonstrated that he has been race winner twice. In the last, it wasn't the last race, he didn't get points in the last race, but the 2 races before that, 2 wins in a row. And that is a sign of a true racer right there. As we go into the chicane once again of turns 14 and 15, is Leo Lund, sorry. I think I've been calling him Leon for God knows how long. I've just realised it's Leo Lund. I do apologise, as I think that's a little too far back really to mount a move. unless he overcharges his ERS and pits this lap. And again, just a bit too far back, as the game will glitch out a little bit, so I do apologise for the little jumpiness of the game. And patience will play dividends here. But they're not the only drivers applying pressure. A bit further back, P6 and for battle for P5. That'll be Sparky, who got past Gustav for a kind of swap of positions. As I mentioned, they're both ET8. And actually, the ET8 squad spans out for 4 positions, P6, 7, 8, and P9. So, a good day for them, who currently find themselves quite happily close to one another. And I believe these guys realistically might be the first ones to try and strike a move as we do head into lap 16. This is where I said the window of switching to the medium tyres will open up. So who will be first? Who will be first to pop in? It's not going to be Dimas. It's not going to be Leon. And again, a lot of the drivers aren't doing this, but I can see it's going to be Mike is going to be the first one in. So he's going to trigger the pit stops. And who is going to follow? And who is going to capitalise on this situation? Now knowing one driver's in, they'll open up a can of worms, and Adam will find himself in a favourable position for the last remaining points. As the driver ahead, Elliot, will not have DRS. So can he mount a move into turn 10 where it will be most favourable? Because he would have seen the driver disappear ahead of him. And critically, you've got to react. You have to react here. The drivers in the lead don't necessarily have to, but how much time do you lose is the big question of them all. You have to remember, with the new rules of the 2022, well, I say new rules, they're old rules now. You come out with about 70-degree tyres, which is, in F1 conditions, extremely cold. And you do not have the grip. Luckily, these medium tyres are very easy to warm up, so they will very quickly get on the swerving off the exit and find their pace quickly. But it does take a lap to get some heat in. As we can see, Gustav, Danico and Elliot going into the pits, trying to cover off Mike. Where is Mike? He's coming into the chicane section of turns 14 and 15. So how much has this worked? Has he gained any positions? He does need to find himself ahead of, it would be Danny Coe is what he's looking for. What has he got here? He comes up to the line. There's a couple of drivers. It's going to be close off the exit, as I believe that will be ahead of Elliot. But the drivers ahead do have colder tyres. So one position for Mike. Does he have anything else to get past Gustav and Danny Coe? And realistically, no. I think they've secured their position quite nicely. So no position changes, but that leaves Sparky out. Of course, the two Alpine drivers were running very close to each other. So Sparky's going to be the next one to go into pits and see where he filters out in this entire train here. And then up ahead, any of the front runners going to risk it for a chocolate biscuit? No. They're staying out once again, but Nowicki saying in P4, you know what? I'm fine with that. You guys go and fight it out. I'm going to pit. And Sparky saying, you know what? I'm going to run with the front runners. He's 1.2 seconds behind. He will have to use a bit of his battery to catch back up with these front runners if he wants a chance at running at their game. And he's brought himself in. Of course, the pit stops will naturally charge up your ERS a bit more and find yourself in a more provident position as well. As where's Norwicki found himself? Found himself currently P6, but of course you've got a few drivers out there, as you can see, who have not stopped. So, currently speaking, 15 seconds behind, 20 with Finn, but Finn's one of the back runners. Sparky is in contention here to maybe jump a few drivers, because P10 realistically is where he should come out. With, of course, where he was before. But has it worked? Has it worked at all? We bring ourselves to the front. Who's going in? It will be the race leader going into the pits. But not Leon Lund. He's saying, I've still got life. And so does Sparky. They are confident that they can make this work. They are confident that they have the pace. But Alexander Dimas, the race leader, is saying, you know what? Now's the time to go. As the game is thinking he's staying for a bit longer. And there is the other Aston Martin driver. Luckily the pit stop box is very close to him. And there they will comfortably come out. But I don't think Super Gamer is all too safe. As no, Super Gamer is under threat by Norwicki. And Norwicki will gain the position. And Super Gaming is now going to be under threat also by Cordor, the defender of the position, and he will hold that. And what a disappointment for Super Gamer. Went out for a lap longer than his co-racers, and he's gonna lose one more if he's not careful by Nicola Adelaide. And Adelaide round the outside will try and fight this out. Into turn 7 we go, and he will have to have the inside line. He's brave, he's bold, and he just holds it in. And Super Gamer losing a bunch of, I think it's about 3-4 positions from where he was, and a strategy that has not worked, as finally Leon Lund and Sparky will go into the pits. But I don't think this is looking favourable for them, as Alexander Dimas, he's going to stay calm, he's going to stay cool. And has his strategy worked? Has he found himself a position where he will go and overtake and reclaim P1? They're coming out now. Who is in danger? Who is in threat? Here we go. Alexander Dimas is going to be in behind Leon Lund. But again, the fresher tyres are going to be favourable for the Aston Martin driver. And the Mercedes, you could see lack of grip, having to go extremely wide. And Leon Lund still holding the line. But Alexander Dimas will find the inside line and a favourable position. But it's Sparky who critically has made positions, but is falling back from all the hard work that he's done. He's having to fend, he's pushing Cordor out wide, and again Cordor having to fend off Nicola Adelaide just to hold his position. But Adelaide is still not giving in. He's an aggressive driver, and that's going to be Super Gaming spinning in the background. So a further disappointment for himself. And Nicola Adelaide and Cordor actually has lost a few more positions. So Adelaide holding his position well, gaining what he needed, even being shoved off the track. And Cordor losing out the most, but the biggest gainers of them all is Norwicki and Sparky, who gain, I think, 2 to 3 positions of their own on the pit stop phase. And now things will start to settle before we get more action again. What a pit stop phase that was. And critically off the start, look at that. Danny Coe, 9 positions, finding himself in P6. I don't know if it was if I said this actually when my mic was muted or unmuted, but Danny Coe has, when I first saw him race, he wasn't necessarily predominantly out there. He wasn't a strong contender. Realistically, I didn't think much. It was one of those back drivers that were fighting for the final point. Didn't really strike me as a driver to really talk about. But over time, he's just kept being there, that he's become recognised. And then, more recently, he's found himself some good points in different leagues. Today is no exception. He's bringing himself back on the radar. And Danny Coe is really making a statement in F1 esports. And he's definitely improving. Whoever's there helping him out, giving him feedback, keep taking it on, my guy. That is, we can physically see it. I'm seeing it. Race after race, this driver just gets better, and his strategy is on point. And as you can see, that just shows 9 positions off the get-go. As already, there's going to be a fight at the front. I was concentrating too far back. Alexander Dimas is finally under threat from the Mercedes driver. Leon Lund is not going to have any of this. He wants his pole position back. He wants the lead of the race back. But has he pounced a little too early, he won't make it stick. And he will have to wait patiently for a bit longer. And I will talk about Leon Lund. First impressions for me, because I've not commentated this guy before. I assume a guy, 2023, I really shouldn't be assuming. But, wow, Leo. I keep calling him Leon. I don't even know why. It's almost just a natural habit to call him Leon. Leo. Please tell me like your full name is Leon. And then it will make me feel slightly bit better. But Leo doing a fantastic job as we have a safety car for a Roman who has retired. I believe he's gone and spun into the wall. So is this a full safety car or a virtual safety car? It is a full safety car. The little yellow dot on the map will indicate that as things will calm down. Unfortunately, it's after the pit stop. Back to Leo. Leo Lund. Not Leon, Leo. Wow. You have made a mark. Really have. From what I've informed from the chat, 13-year-old driver. Aggressive, yes. But mature driving style. I love to see it. Timing his overtakes when he wants to. That little lunge that we just saw a moment ago. I wouldn't have said it was a bad idea. It was a very it was well thought out, well timed. It definitely applied pressure for Dimas, and Dimas had to react, and you saw the struggle that he went through, and almost something came of it. But Lund is just, it's confidence. I love it. I love to see the confidence coming from this driver, and especially from young talent like this. It only begs to differ. The fact he's 13 and pulling this off, what are we going to see from them later on later on in the years? Because I'm not going to say in 2023 he's going to rise to the top. No. I think 2024, if he shows this pure talent from what we're seeing from first race, we might get something of it. But this is actually a good reminder to myself. This is only the first race. First impressions are the most important, of course. And he's done a good job. The question is, who's not performed today? Well, I'll tell you who's not performed. Alexander. As mentioned, I thought we were going to come and play our game. I thought we were going to put on a performance, put on a show for me. You have been redeemed with this safety car. All I ask from you now is go and have fun. Go and put pressure on everybody. Show everybody that my bigging you up earlier, because I've seen this man, Alexander Johansson, who does drive well. I've seen him drive well. I know this man can do more. I know it. But it's not his day today. And the same with Cordor. But to be honest, Cordor was caught in a bit of a mess. And when Nico Adelaide, brilliant defending from Cordor. He definitely pushed Adelaide to the limits. But just going through turns 7 and 8. And I think it was turn 9 where realistically he made that mistake. But I think 7 and 8 didn't set him up all too nicely. That's where the mistake came in, and I believe it was going wide, possibly gravel. I didn't see it fully. And he's dropped all the way back to P15. But again, a name to watch out, because Cordor, you saw how he was driving before. I kept saying that defense that he has is strong. So fear him later on. But, as I said, we've got some new names in here that I am looking forward to. But, Norwicki as well, up in P3, finding himself in a prime position. I'm ready for a fight. And look at that, the young star of Leo Lund. Already getting ready. He knows. He wants it. He wants it with all his might. But it's Alexander Dimas who will play the... Leon Lund will get... What? Where's the contact? There was none. That was a load of BS in the game's eyes. But it'll be Alexander Dimas to make the pounce. When is he going to go? He's going to be the cool marker. He's waiting till the last second, and it's go, go, go once again. And Leo is caught napping because that's going to be Nowicki getting right up the rear end of the Mercedes driver. But it's not going to be a move just yet. But Sparky having to defend hard from the driver behind. That'll be Nicola Adelaide will be pressuring hard. But Gustav is under threat by Mike, as Mike is going to go right the way around the outside into turn 3 and find himself in a solid position into turn 4, holding his ground quite nicely. So not many drivers making a gain except for Mike, who did just drop the mic on the Alpine driver. Sparky still under threat by the Ferrari driver. Adelaide will be wanting to gain something early. He'll want to try and pressurize the Alpine driver, but the Alpine driver himself isn't holding back. He's pressurizing Nowicki, capitalizing on the attempt made on the first corner, which didn't work out all too well. Now, of course, you can see those little penalty boxes. I can tell you for sure Lund will get his removed, because for God's sake, there was nothing there that showed and meant that he made contact with Dimas. And Alexander Johansson finding 2 positions off the get-go, finding himself P15. That's the overtaking driver that I like to see. And especially, I think he's got fresh boots on as well. I have to double check that. Lap 3 old medium, so yeah, he's gone and put on some fresh boots. But Super Gaming deciding, you know what, we're playing risky here. Lap 3 old softs. So he's going to try and go fast and hard to the end of this race, and I think he might be eyeing up something here, but he's a little bit too far off Adam. But a good inside line will find him lining up into turn 5, riding it round the outside. But again, those softs, the compound being so much softer, more grippier through the corners. Watch as he grips through turns 7 and 8, and going wide. I looked down for 2 seconds, but I don't know what happened, because I looked down for 2 seconds and someone's already spun. I think that's Cordor who spun. No, it wasn't. It was Adam who spun. And behind him, Zeke. It'll be Elliot and Zereki. We'll get that name eventually. Colliding with each other, causing damage to one another. And I believe it was late braking, a little bit of understeer that caused that collision a bit further back. So the elbows are out. They're already getting feisty here as DRS will be re-enabled. And once again, I think that's Johansson in the background actually. Yeah, that is Johansson. Gonna make his move. No DRS just yet on this straight, but he doesn't need it. What's DRS for? As he goes down the inside, shoves Justin off the track. Alexander Johansson finding himself P13, only 3 drivers away. And he's back in the points, back in a position where he wants to be, because he wants points off the get-go. Get the early money, get going from here. Draw our attention all the way to the front. Dimas now in control. Lund doesn't really have anything yet. He made his lunge, he made his attack off the get-go. But I don't think Lund is going to strike until around about lap 30. The last 3 laps is when we are going to see a lot more action. Though, unless you're on a soft tyre like Super Gaming, well, those are super softs in my eyes. And they are going to fly as he rounds the final corner. Turn 16. He's already side by side. He's already flying side by side with Gustav. And easily done. He didn't even really need much assistance to get it sorted. A clean overtake. And he's looking for more. His teammates next. Mike is going to be quivering under the fact and knowing those soft tyres are on full pace. The load has dropped as Lund has got past Dimas on a turn 4 where we were focusing elsewhere. Lund has said, you know what, lap 28, this is mine, but Dimas is fighting back. He's going around the outside, extremely risky to go into turn 7. But he's going to have a good run here. The DRS is in his favour. It's going to be all for Dimas. He looks to the outside, but there's just no room. Lund puts his car where he needs to. The aggression from this kid, and I can say from this 13-year-old kid, is unreal. Twice he has applied pressure, applied the threat onto the Aston Martin driver, and now look at what he's doing. He's pulling away. He's pulled a second. He hasn't pulled a second away in time because DRS will be favourable, but I think Dimas is struggling here. A confident performance is going away as Super Gaming gets past his teammate further back. And Norwick is going to eye up the opportunity because Lund is still pulling. He is still going. Chat, you are right. Leo is being the GOAT right now. He is being forceful. He is being resourceful. He is on the fringe of breaking away, but has he used all his ERS a little too early? So is Dimas still in this fight? Is he still able to fight? No, there it is. There's the second, and clearly done. Just to confirm, no wing has opened up. Lund has done it. But has he made it stick to the end of the race? There's still a few more laps to go. And critically, Lund is in a fine position. And I tell you who else is in a fine position. It'll be Sparky. He wasn't necessarily in this fight for the podium. Oh, look at him now. He is definitely lining up. He's eyeing up the opportunity here. Sparky knows that there's a podium up for him. A position that wasn't even meant for him, as there is Norwicky. Norwicky saying, you know what, Dimas, you've lost one position. I'm stealing the second one off you. So now it's Dimas. He's going to be under threat. And you know what? Sparky's going to get involved with this. I said the podium's here for him, but it isn't just there yet. Play patient. Save up your ERS. Wait for another strike. And the race leader throughout this race has dropped down to P3. And he's got no ERS. The flashing red light on the back of the car is an indication that the driver has less than 10% ERS. And that is music to Sparky's ears. That is a sight that he's been dreaming of. Because you know Dimas is going to be deploying everything now. When you get that low, you end up just deploying, and you keep deploying, and you keep deploying, because you've got to stick to the driver ahead of you. And you can see Dimas, from all that deployment, has put himself in a fairly favourable position, maybe to fight back, unless there's some reserve that we did not know, and that he's able to fight with. He's going to try. He's going to try for sure. He's up and close down the inside. Dimas will retake second place. But there is Sparky down the inside. Is going to say, you know what, let's get involved. But Sparky getting a little too aggressive. No, not just yet. Because now he has to fight Nicola Adelaide for this position as well. Because Adelaide wants to get involved with a little tussle. But Adelaide is going to have to wait patiently round to the outside of turn 14. You can see the Alpine trying to force the Ferrari wide. And holds the position. It is getting a bit more feisty. Is getting a bit more tussly. Dimas just finds himself a bit of a gap. What he needs to maybe hold off Norwicky, his teammates. Same organisation as well. QRT. Same organisation, same team. And there, Big Fellaback Super Gaming is trying to fight with Danny Coe into turn 10. He just doesn't have enough grip to fight it out, but we're going to draw our attention back to the front to Sparky. The next real opportunity for him to fight. Lap 32. Lap 32. 2 laps to go. And it's all to play for. And nobody close enough on this run. Nobody to really say, right, I'm going to overtake here. All conserving their batteries. Build up your ERS. Don't use it all at once. And you can see Nowicki has closed the gap. So he's taken this opportunity to close the gap to a prime position. We might be looking at a very strong fight because you've got the likes of Dimas, Nowicki, Sparky, Adelaide really close to one another. Realistically, I don't see Danny Cohen, Super Gaming getting involved with this. But it could be anything as Gustav will retire in the pits, meaning 14 drivers remain to cross the line. What is left? Here we go. We're about to head into the final lap. Sector 3 is coming round. Turn 12. Who's the closest? Who's really up for a pound? Dimas has done a good job in Sector 2 to really pull away. So he might have just saved himself here, but Sparky, on the other hand, well, he has closed. He's going to ramp this up quite nicely, going to deploy everything he can, because here and now is where you want to fight, where you want to overtake. The red light showing on the Aston Martin ahead, but it just is not enough. He might be able to do something into turn 3. Wait patiently. Sorry, turn 4. As round turn 3 he goes, take a wider line, carry the speed through. He has to defend to the inside, but there is just nothing there. Unless there is a miracle move that he can find, he will have to do it. As Cordell will retire from this race as well at the very end, but I don't see anything happening. The next overtaking zone is going to be turn 10. Sparky, he is closing, but I don't think that's close enough. Realistically, no overtaking could be done here. So we will draw attention to the front. Leo Lund, 13 years of age, first time in F4, has presented to us the 13-year-old prodigy who has come out, been behind a strong, dominant driver, and overtaken him to win the Spanish Grand Prix in F4, Leo Lund. And what a drive by him. And that penalty, yes, was 5 seconds, but I can tell you for sure that will go away 100% because we were on board when that happened. That will get removed. I don't have a hazard of a doubt. Realistically, it will go. What a race. What a race. Let's get up the standings. Let's get up the race results. Of course, I will factor in and put Leo at the top. As I said, I mentioned to you, I watched the 5-second time penalty was supposedly for colliding with the driver ahead of him under the safety car. Realistically, that did not happen. His car was nowhere near. The game just dished out the penalty. If my game wants to load, thank you very much. Give me the results. So, bear with me. Leo Lund will be taking the win of this race. I'm pretty confident. Of course, this will have to be pending steward results. I'm very confident in what I've been saying. With Alexander Dimas next, so that we'll just go in order as it is. Alexander Dimas, then it'll be Sparky just crossing the line. I think because there was a penalty to, it would be the Alpine Aston Martin driver of Norwich who got a 5-second time penalty. Again, we'll have to review what that was for. Adelaide in P3. Denico P4, Lund currently P5, but I think that'll get removed. Super Gaming P6, Norwicki in P7, Zerki, well, I said, please message me how you pronounce your name. P8, Elliot Noreen in P9, Justin in P10, Mike in P11, Finn in P12, Alexander Johansson does make positions in P13, and that is as much as I can get before I lose too much. Why is that exactly? My camera decided to not turn back on. Great, I even set my camera back up so you have a blank screen of me. Hello, at least you don't have to see my ugly mug for a little bit longer, but what a race that was. And you know what, I'm not really an interviewee type person, but yeah, let's bring some people in. Let's have a little chat with a few people, assuming I can. Let's grab in Leo and Dimas. Please. I'm gonna try and get in Leo and Dimas into the interview if they want to come in. They probably need to go in the waiting room. There's literally a second section called waiting room. If I can... How the hell do you do this? Well, eventually... There he is. Leo!
Hello.
Can I confirm that the chat is right in saying that you are 13 years old?
I'm 13, yeah.
Wow. What a performance from you then. Absolutely brilliant drive. You had this talented driver of Dimas in front of you that I've known for a while. Then you make that overtake. What was it like being behind some quite talented drivers and then to put on a performance you did today?
Wait, what did you say?
Well, you've done a brilliant performance today. How did you feel about today?
I feel like I did good today. I'm proud of myself. It was my best race ever, like.
Are you normally this kind of confident when you're driving as well? Because what I was saying amongst the chat was you didn't look like you're out of place. You just looked like one of the other drivers. Are you normally this confident when you're racing?
I tried to stay behind him to have the rest, and I pitted, so I tried to overcut him, but it did not go very well. But then my engineer said to overtake him to gain a gap. Then I did it.
The first attempt of overtaking didn't work. Did that knock your confidence for a little bit, or were you solely focused on getting past him?
I was planning to do a move, fake the inside, and then I got the outside, so.
Fair enough. Thank you, Leo, for being in the interview. Brilliant and well done. Of course, you will have to put a steward report in to try and remove that 5 seconds. From my view, it was no 5 seconds in my eyes, but definitely put that in. But thank you, Leo, for being in the call. I'm gonna bring in the.
Thank you too.
I'm just gonna move you somewhere else. There we go. Boop. I'm gonna bring Alexander Dimas. Alexander. What? Wait. I wanted him in there. Get in the room. Are we in? We in. Unmute yourself, Alexander.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
What a performance, Dimas. What a performance. I don't know how much you heard of the stream, how much I was talking about the confidence you have, the way that not only in this league but other leagues, you have been performing extremely well. P2, not the result you were expecting, but still great. How did you feel about it?
I felt good, like I was just driving smoothly. Of course, with Leo Land a bit close behind me, but we stayed like that for a long time. But he had more pace in the long run, so he overtook me. Then I made a mistake, so he could drive away out of the DRS.
Wait,
so
from the last bits of the race, you dropped down to P3 critically. You were able to take it back. Were you scared at that point? Was there that fear that you could fall further back, or were you just solely focused on your own race, or did you allow that external pressure to get to you?
No, like I let him pass my teammate because he had a 3-second time penalty. Of course, I could tuck behind with a DRS, and a lap later I would go past because Sparky was behind, so that I wouldn't get overtaken by him, and grab P2. And then he fought a bit with him, and I tried to get away because I didn't have much ERS, so it was pretty good for me in the last lap, and grab P2 at the end.
You said you let your teammate pass. Does that mean you guys are in communication with one another?
No, this race we weren't, but I thought like it would be smart. The next race we will be in comms, I think, because that's much better for us. We can communicate in the race as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alexander. You've been a pleasure to speak to, and I'm going to get one more person, assuming this does work, which will be Sparky. Sparky, make sure you unmute yourself there. What a drive from yourself. You know, you started, I try to remember off the top of my head, you started near the lower half of the grid, finding your way for P3, if I've got that right. It's already been a couple of minutes, I've already forgotten, but a brilliant drive from you. How are you feeling about today's race?
Quite happy, maybe a bit mixed feeling. I finished P8 in qualifying. The lap was not really good, but not really bad. It was solid. Yeah, the race as always was quite eventful. I went for the overcut and I charged up my battery to do the overcut, so I can squeeze out my ERS when the other guys are pitting, which worked. We undercutted I think 2-3 people, and we had fresher tires, which helped me after the safety car. I saw the Aston Martin was flashing, so I knew he had quite a bit less ERS. But they did do a great teamwork to keep me behind, and we had a little tap, which I think was a bit, on the limit. But yeah, I need to apologize to the AlphaTauri of Cordoningo because I squeezed him a bit, sadly, in a fight in the first stint on the hard tire. So yeah, let's see if it gets reported, but it was a very fun race.
It was very entertaining to watch you crawl up through the grid, and I think you've covered a lot of my kind of like questions to you. And Sparky, first of all, welcome. It's first time meeting you, and you know, I look forward to seeing what you do for the rest of this season.
Yeah, thank you for commentating as well. And yeah, maybe I will join the podium more often. I think Spain was one of my better tracks, so if I could have pulled out a better quali lap, I think I could have been more in the mix. But yeah, I think next track is Singapore. I haven't driven it yet this game, so I don't know what will be waiting around the corner there for me. But maybe we meet soon. But yeah, it was fun as always. Super competitive, this grid. I think you saw it as well. Super close. The whole field up to P15 was in a DRS train. So I hope we give you good action for the whole season and you don't fall asleep.
Oh, don't worry, I'm not one to fall asleep very easily. Thank you very much, okay, Sparky. And yeah, Sparky did make a very valid point there, finding that the next race is going to be Singapore, which is going to be very interesting. Always posed a little bit of a drama behind the races, especially with the walls quite close to you. A very technical, very challenging track, and usually the weather likes to come out of play as well, especially when it gets a little bit wet. Drivers get a little bit scared, but stay tuned next week for more action, of course, where we will be heading over there. And if you still want action as well, of course, there is Wednesday that comes around, which will be PC Tier 1, where the drivers of the best, like Jarno Opmeer, does go and race around. It will be Singapore next, and that's how we see the drivers do it properly. But as if you're looking for the F4 action, and of course, one of the better tiers, come back next week, and we'll see you at F4.
This broadcast was brought to you by GT Omega, proudly supporting PSGL.